Chapter 5: Create Boundaries. Boundaries are one of the most underused ways to be the best version of yourself. You must learn to say no. Saying no is probably one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do to ensure you are in integrity with yourself. Most people are not used to hear no or respect no. To learn to say no, you have to explore how you react to people who say no to you. Once you are open to others saying no to you, start practicing it yourself. Say no when you don't feel like doing something or when it doesn't feel right for you. Another aspect of creating boundaries is how you behave in your friendship circle. Be clear about individuals who are supportive and uplift you, and stay away from those who only bring you down or feed drama. Surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you truly are. Now is the perfect time to assess your friendships and set boundaries around those who do not fulfill you. Toxic relationships often feel a more deep-seated need to please others. If you are experiencing a relationship with a person who is mean to you or always makes you feel bad about yourself, knows that you are allowing this. It is okay for you to say no to that type of relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, it could be with a friend or a coworker. To have healthy boundaries, you need to know what you value. If you value compassion, but you turn around and start criticizing and gossiping with a friend, you are not in integrity with yourself. Be clear about what you value and then match the behaviors to those values. That way, it will be easier to create boundaries and shift your behavior when it is not aligned with your values and beliefs. Once you are clear with your values, seek them in others, and surround yourself with people who have similar values to you. Once you can recognize how you feel about the relationship you currently have and are clear about your values, it will be much easier to assert yourself. For example, if you are with a group of friends and one suggests something you are uncomfortable about, you can assert yourself. Express how you feel and why you don't feel like participating in that idea. The more you will assert yourself, the better you will feel about yourself. Just be mindful that you are not judging or criticizing others when you assert yourself. Position your thoughts in a way that it's about what you feel and what you don't feel is aligned with your true self. But most of all, stop trying to please others because it is one of the most limiting behaviors you can have. When you please others, you completely forget your true self and allow others to dictate how you should behave, look, and even talk. This type of behavior is very destructive to the self, and it is pretty much acting yourself. You become an actor and live the life that others want you to live in. Once you learn to let go of pleasing others, you start living your own life. You no longer tailor your experience to the image of others but more to what you want and who you are. By doing so, the people around you will accept you for who you are, and if they don't accept you, they are not meant to be in your life. Creating boundaries means recognizing that sometimes you do things to please others, and that has to stop if it makes you feel bad about yourself. Pay attention to when you say yes, and deep down, you don't feel like doing something. Take the courage to stop trying to please others. For example, if somebody asks you to do something for them and you don't feel it's aligned with your needs, just say that it's not a good time for you. You can also say no. Doing what you want doesn't mean free for all, it means showing compassion toward what lies in your heart and do things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and drive. The more you will do things that bring you joy, the less you will need boundaries. You will surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you are. You won't need to say no because it will be aligned with your true self. Once you start setting boundaries, you will notice your life changing, and you will find yourself experiencing more positive moments. A life with boundaries is the perfect environment to be yourself and live your best life. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you need to learn to say no and create boundaries. By distancing yourself from things that don't align with your authentic self, you are saying no to distraction and hindrance to living your best life. When you start respecting yourself, you put yourself as the priority. Many people believe it is selfish, meanwhile, when it is done for the right reasons, it serves a bigger purpose. It allows you to have the time, energy, and wellness to be your best self around others. It will enable you to be present for others and, in return, uplift them too. When you find the courage to create healthy boundaries in your life, you quickly are rewarded with joy, happiness, and a sense of being the best version of yourself. Setting boundaries is a way of caring for myself. It doesn't make me mean, selfish, or uncaring just because I don't do things your way. I care about me too. Christine Morgan. Chapter 6. Increase your self-confidence and self-esteem. Self-confidence is mostly behavior-based, and it is about knowing what your abilities are, while self-esteem is more mind-based on how you perceive yourself. Self-esteem and self-confidence are not always positively correlated. For example, you can be good at something and trust your skills, self-confidence, but still perceive yourself as a loser, self-esteem. First, let's explore self-confidence and assess how your self-confidence is. Self-confidence is about trusting your abilities and also trust your own judgment and decisions. People with low self-confidence will judge themselves by their actions or what they are incapable of doing. When you experience low self-confidence, you will likely see the gaps in yourself. One of the easiest ways to work on self-confidence is to assess your level of comfort at accepting compliments from others and correct it. How do you react when someone gives you a compliment or positive feedback? Most people who struggle with that will show a lower level of self-confidence. Correcting this is simple. Learn to respond with thank you. Stop making excuses or reasons for it, and simply say thank you. This will improve your relationship with others and, mostly, with yourself. If you can't accept compliments from others, how can you expect to recognize your qualities? Start by showing a different behavior in your external world, and the inner world will positively change. Another way to build self-confidence is to strengthen your self-esteem, which is more the way you perceive yourself. Improve your perception of yourself, and you are less likely to see the gaps in your behaviors. Self-esteem is the way we perceive or evaluate our worth and is the ultimate belief we place on ourselves. People with high self-esteem tend to be more comfortable with their true selves and demonstrate a lot more integrity. When we have high self-esteem, we respect our true selves. On the other hand, people with low self-esteem will often stop themselves from doing something or from expressing who they are because they fear that they will not be accepted and loved for who they are. Our fear of being judged often leads us to behave in a way that is not aligned with what our heart wants because we want to feel accepted and loved by others. To get over this fear, you have to let go of the need for approval from others slowly. You can do so by taking the time to accept yourself first, and then you can express who you are without feeling like others will judge you. Appreciate yourself. Appreciating yourself means that you are okay with who you are and enjoy being by yourself. Have the goal of becoming your best friend. Take some time to hang out with yourself once in a while. It will help you build a level of comfort in being by yourself. Add some self-care during those moments. It will help you increase self-respect. Be proud of your accomplishments. We've all accomplished something in our life. It could be as simple as completing your elementary school or getting that job you applied for. Whatever it is, take the time to list the things you've accomplished in your life, even if it is as simple as making your bed. Recognize your skills. Every one of us is good at something. If it's hard for you to identify those skills, ask someone around you to help list a few abilities that you have. It can be hard skills like carpentry, drawing, or cooking. It could also be a soft skill like listening, compassion, or empathy. Learn to love your body. Learning to love our bodies is probably one of the most significant accomplishments we can make in our life. Some studies show that 40% of men and over 90% of women are unhappy with their bodies. That is almost unreal. Loving your body is about self-talk. Be your best friend and treat your body the same way you would treat your child or best friend. Be kind, compassionate, and supportive. Compassion toward ourselves will often lead to better self-esteem and higher self-confidence. One can only hope the person you love will make you the best version of yourself. Mia Maestro. Chapter 7. Connecting with your authenticity. Authentic people are genuine, real, and mostly in integrity with themselves. They don't try to be someone they are not or please people they don't know. They, in some ways, know that they are unique but accept that aspect of themselves. For them, being different is not an issue nor something they thrive to be, they are just themselves. Authentic people also love doing what they enjoy and don't try to copy others' ideas for the sake of being successful. Their success comes from doing what is in their heart, what drives them, as opposed to what inspires others or the majority. One of the best ways to connect with your authentic self is to stop comparing yourself to others. When you compare yourself to others, you automatically feed a belief that you should be like others, that being yourself is not enough. This limits you from being yourself and making it okay. Most of us often compare ourselves to others because we have that belief that others have it better than us. This can transform into envy or jealousy. Take a moment to list all the things that make you happy and fulfill a space in your heart. Now find ways to do more of that. When you do the things that you love, you are being authentic, you are exposing the best version of yourself, and that's why it is fulfilling. Another way to reconnect with your true and authentic self is to rediscover your inner child, the one that didn't care about what others thought. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Brené Brown. Chapter 8, Reconnecting with your inner child. When you reconnect with your inner child, you also heal wounds from the past, often associated with the 5 wounds. The top things you can learn from your inner child are the following: there is no such thing as failures, only experiences. The best way to experience life is through play. It doesn't matter what others think. If you want to scream, scream. If you want to dance in public, dance in public. If you want to sing when you eat, sing when you eat. Love is unconditional. I love my parents no matter what or who they are, from the moment I am born. I live in the present moment. When I am hungry, you know it. When I am happy, you know it. When I am calm, you know it. I am not afraid to express how I feel. It's easy to forgive others, you just have to show compassion and move on. Try to be more like your inner child and awaken that aspect of you that you knew when you were young, but somehow, you've disconnected from growing up. Take the time to play again, to make mistakes, forgive and try something else. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and do what your heart tells you to do, no matter what others may think. Love yourself and others around you. Learn to love unconditionally once again, show compassion to those around you. And most of all, learn to live in the present moment, stop resisting all those emotions and learn to express them more healthily and not repress. The most potent muse of all is our own inner child. Stephen Nachmanovich. Chapter 9, Tame Your Inner Voice. Self-talk is one of the most powerful forms of communication because it has the power to lift you up or bring you down in a matter of seconds. It is often impressive how we can be mean to ourselves. While most of us would never express hate or diminishing words toward our friends and families, yet, we let ourselves be our biggest bully. The first step is to pay attention to your inner chat. What are the thoughts that cross your mind when you look at yourself in the mirror or when you make a mistake? Be aware that if you practice negative self-talk, this didn't happen overnight, and it will require a lot of practice, awareness, and work to get the habit out of you. Second, try to identify when you are using a lot of negative self-talk. Is it when you look at yourself in the mirror? When you are out with friends or when you are at work? Once you've identified it, make a new affirmation that will replace your negative self-talk. For example, if you are always criticizing yourself when you are at the gym, that your hips are too big or your belly is not in enough, make a new phrase in your mind that you will use when you are exercising. It could be that you are proud of yourself for taking the time to take care of your physical body. Be aware of your negative chatter and change it to something more positive. Self-talk reflects your innermost feelings. Asa Dawn Brown. Chapter 10, Increase Your Self-Awareness. Have you ever been in a public space, and the person next to you expressed this huge sigh that clearly shows her impatience toward the situation? How did that make you feel? Were you a bit uncomfortable? That person didn't care about self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize your emotional state and find ways to stay in balance. When you practice self-awareness, you are automatically allowing yourself to be a better version of yourself and not let your emotions take control of you. Being self-aware simply means that you can observe yourself from a non-judgmental perspective. When you are self-aware, you can catch yourself in the present moment experiencing a specific state, reaction, or feeling. The more you are aware of your emotions, the more you start to understand yourself. For example, you might observe that you tend to be reactive when someone provides you with a suggestion on how to do something different. When you are aware of your emotions, you have a better idea of who you are and how you tend to react in certain situations. It is also the best way to improve yourself on certain aspects that you don't find optimal. You become less driven by drama. Self-awareness will help you in your daily life with identifying moments when you are living one of the 5 wounds, or when you are a victim and not aligned with the best version of yourself. Self-awareness will also help you with the following: experience a greater ability to recognize your emotions, improve your critical thinking, improve your relationships, live in the present moment, experience more joy and happiness. But the ultimate reward to being self-aware is your ability to recognize when you are not in alignment with your true self. It is the opportunity to be authentic and therefore be in integrity with yourselves. Self-awareness is the key to becoming the best version of yourself. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. Eckhart Tolle. Conclusion: being the best version of yourself is not an objective that we can reach overnight. As human beings, we first have to accept that we aren't perfect, and perfection will never be our truth. Being the best version of yourself is not about perfection but more about finding your true self. The true self can only be found when we choose to remove the mask that we've been wearing for a long time. That mask comes with behaviors and wounds that only time and hard work can heal. Don't be afraid to face your shadows and bring to light the aspect of yourself that needs to heal. Never forget that human was never meant to be alone and do things on their own. We are social creatures that require a community to thrive. Don't hesitate to seek help from experts or build a support network on encouraging and motivating you to grow.